The desperate call setting, Deep Space Communication Array, Luna Station -2089. Commander Jack Rivers sits in the quiet hum of Luna Station's communication center, monitoring the endless stream of cosmic background noise. For 15 years, humanity has been reaching out to the stars, broadcasting messages of peace and friendship. The response has always been silence. It changes at 14:23 GMT, when specialist Kate Morgan picks up something impossible, a structured signal from the Kepler 442 system, 1,200 light-years away. The transmission is weak, fragmented, but unmistakably artificial. Within minutes, the entire station is buzzing with activity. Dr. Ben Clark, the station's chief cryptographer, works frantically to decode the message. The signal uses mathematical constants and basic physics principles to establish communication. Slowly, a picture emerges of the senders, a species called the Velani. The decoded message is terrifying in its simplicity. The Velani are under attack by a species they call the Devourers. Their colonies are being systematically destroyed, their population enslaved or killed. Billions have already died. The Velani are peaceful traders and scientists with no military capability. They are being hunted to extinction. The transmission includes star charts, tactical data, and desperate pleas for help. The Devourers are described as a nomadic species that consumes entire civilizations, stripping planets bare before moving on to the next target. They show no mercy, take no prisoners, and leave nothing behind but dead worlds. General Mark Stone, commander of Earth's Space Defense Force, receives the decoded message within hours. The implications are staggering. First contact with not one, but two alien species, and humanity is being asked to intervene in an interstellar war. The Velani message contains detailed intelligence about Devourer tactics, ship designs, and weaknesses. They have been studying their enemy for decades while slowly losing the war. The Devourers are individually stronger and better armed, but they rely on fear and overwhelming force rather than strategy. Earth's military leaders gather in emergency session. The distance is enormous, -1,200 light-years beyond humanity's current reach. But the prototype jump drive technology, developed in secret for the past decade, might make the journey possible. The question is whether humanity should get involved. In an alien war, Admiral Lisa Hart, head of strategic operations, argues for intervention. These Devourers won't stop with the Velani, she warns. If they consume enough civilizations, they'll eventually find us. We need to stop them now, while we have allies. The debate rages for hours. Some argue humanity isn't ready for interstellar war. Others point out that the Velani seem to be humanity's kind of people, peaceful, scientific, and desperate for help. The military sees an opportunity to test humanity's weapons against a real threat. President Davis makes the final decision. We've spent centuries asking if we're alone in the universe. Now we know we're not, and we know there are monsters out there. We stop them here, or we fight them at Earth's doorstep. The part ends with the activation of Project Spear Humanities' first interstellar military operation. The fleet begins assembling in Earth orbit, led by the U.S. Hammer, humanity's most advanced battleship. Captain Mike Cross takes command, knowing he's about to lead humanity into its first alien war. The war machine awakens setting, Earth orbital shipyards and military bases. Mobilization is unlike anything in human history. Within 48 hours, Earth's entire military-industrial complex shifts into high gear. Shipyards that were building exploration vessels now construct warships. Factories that made civilian electronics now produce weapon systems. Captain Cross stands on the bridge of the U.S. Hammer, watching the fleet assemble around him. 57 ships in total, heavy cruisers, destroyers, carrier vessels, and support craft. Each ship is equipped with humanity's most advanced weapons, railguns, plasma cannons, nuclear missiles, and the experimental matter disruptors. The engineering challenge is immense. The jump drive technology has only been tested on small craft, never on a full battle fleet. Chief Engineer Tom Davis works around the clock, installing the drives on every ship. The margin for error is zero. If the drives fail, the fleet will be stranded in deep space. Dr. Clark continues analyzing Vellani transmissions, learning more about their enemy. The Devourers are biomechanical beings that live in massive hive ships. They reproduce by consuming other species, literally incorporating their victims into their collective. They have no concept of mercy or negotiation. The Vellani provide detailed intelligence about devourer tactics. They prefer to attack isolated colonies, using fear and overwhelming force to break resistance quickly. They have never faced an enemy and fought back effectively. Their technology is advanced, but specialized for conquest rather than warfare. Colonel Ann Price, commander of the fleet's Marine contingent, prepares her troops for something unprecedented: fighting aliens in space. The Marines train with new weapons designed specifically for the Devourers, based on Vellani intelligence about their weaknesses. Meanwhile, the Vellani transmissions become increasingly desperate. 3 more colonies have fallen in the past week. The Devourers are closing in on the Vellani homeworld. The remaining population is less than 500 million, scattered across a dozen worlds. The human fleet faces skepticism from Earth's civilian government. Politicians question the massive resource expenditure for aliens they've never met. Some suggest it's humanity's chance to test their weapons, while others worry about provoking a species that could threaten Earth. Admiral Hart briefs the fleet commanders on their mission parameters. "We're not just fighting for the Vellani," she explains. "We're establishing humanity's position in the galaxy. The way we handle this will determine how other species see us for generations." The Vellani send technical data about their own technology: advanced shields, energy weapons, and faster-than-light communication systems. They offer to share everything they know in exchange for military assistance. The technology transfer could advance human civilization by centuries. Captain Cross addresses his fleet before departure. "We're going into the unknown to fight an enemy we've never seen, to save people we've never met. But that's what humans do. We protect the innocent, no matter who they are or where they come from." The part ends with the fleet's departure. 57 ships, carrying the hopes of 2 species and the firepower of humanity, disappear into hyperspace. The journey to Kepler 442 will take 2 months, during which the Devourers will continue their slaughter. First blood setting, deep space. Kepler 442 system outer rim. The human fleet drops out of hyperspace at the edge of the Kepler 442 system to find chaos. The Devourers have already begun their final assault. Massive biomechanical ships, each the size of a small city, are systematically destroying Vellani colonies. Captain Cross watches the tactical display with growing horror. The Devourer ships are unlike anything humanity has encountered: organic. Hulls covered in weapon ports, writhing with tentacle-like appendages. They move with purpose, herding civilian transports like predators hunting prey. The first Vellani ship to approach the human fleet is the research vessel Harmony. Its captain, a being called Elder Kess, speaks directly to Captain Cross through the translation matrix. The Vellani are tall, graceful beings with 4 arms and large, intelligent eyes. They radiate a sense of calm despite their desperate situation. "You came," Elder Kess says simply. "We did not dare hope." The tactical situation is grim. The Devourers have 43 ships in the system, significantly outnumbering the human fleet. But the Vellani provide real-time intelligence about Devourer movements and weaknesses. The enemy ships are powerful but slow, designed for intimidation. Rather than combat maneuvers, Captain Cross makes the decision that will define humanity's first interstellar war. All ships attack formation. We're going in hard and fast. The battle begins with a human surprise attack on the Devourer ships besieging the Velani colony of Haven. The U's hammer leads the charge, its railguns punching through biomechanical armor like it's made of paper. The Devourers, caught off guard, struggle to respond to human tactics. The humans fight unlike anything the Devourers have encountered. Instead of the fear-based warfare they're used to, the human ships attack with precision and coordination. They use the Devourers' size against them, targeting vital systems with concentrated firepower. Commander Sarah Wells, captain of the destroyer UE's Viper, leads a strike group against a Devourer hide ship. The enemy vessel is massive, bristling with weapons, but it's designed to fight cowering prey, not determined predators. The human ships dart in and out, hitting critical systems before the Devourers can respond. The battle turns when the humans deploy their secret weapon, the matter disruptors. The experimental weapons literally tear apart the biomechanical structure of the Devourer ships at the molecular level. The enemy vessels, for all their size and power, begin to dissolve under the assault. The Devourers attempt to retreat, but the human fleet pursues relentlessly. This is warfare as humans understand it. Total commitment. No mercy for those who prey on the innocent. The Devourer ships are hunted down one by one. During the battle, Colonel Price's Marines board a damaged Devourer vessel to gather intelligence. What they find is horrifying. The ship is part machine, part living organism, filled with the absorbed remains of countless species. The Devourers are not just conquering civilizations. They're consuming them. The battle ends with the destruction of 17 Devourer ships. The remaining enemy forces retreat to regroup, but the message is clear. Humanity has arrived, and they're not backing down. Elder Kess meets with Captain Cross aboard the Hammer. The Velani leader is amazed by human military efficiency. In one day, you have accomplished what we could not in decades of warfare. How is this possible? Cross's answer is simple. We've been preparing for war our entire history. You've been preparing for peace. Both have their place. The Hammer falls setting. Multiple star systems, Devourer territory. The war escalates rapidly. The human fleet, reinforced by Velani ships equipped with human weapons, begins a systematic campaign to drive the Devourers out of Velani space. The enemy responds by calling in their scattered fleets, turning the conflict into a full-scale interstellar war. Captain Cross leads the combined fleet in a series of lightning strikes against Devourer bases. The human tactical doctrine proves devastatingly effective. Hit hard, hit fast, and never give the enemy time to regroup. The Devourers, accustomed to terrorizing helpless prey, struggle against opponents who fight back with equal ferocity. The battle for the Velani homeworld is the turning point. The Devourers mass their entire remaining fleet, over 200 ships, for a final assault. The human Velani alliance appears hopelessly outnumbered, but they have advantages the Devourers don't expect. Admiral Hart, commanding from the UES Titan, coordinates the defense. The human ships use Velani knowledge of local space to set up ambushes in asteroid fields and nebulae. The Devourers, expecting a conventional battle, find themselves fighting a guerrilla war in space. The humans reveal their true strength, not just advanced weapons, but tactical flexibility born from centuries of warfare. They adapt to each battle, learning from every engagement. The Devourers, operating on instinct and overwhelming force, cannot match human strategic thinking. Colonel Price leads a desperate boarding action against the Devourer flagship, a massive bioship the size of a space station. The Marines fight through corridors that pulse with alien life, facing creatures that are part machine, part organism, part absorbed victim. The battle is brutal and close quarters. The Marines discover the Devourer weakness. They're not truly unified. Each ship operates independently, driven by hunger rather than strategy. When the flagship's control node is destroyed, the entire Devourer fleet loses coordination. The human fleet exploits this weakness ruthlessly. They target command vessels, disrupting Devourer communications and coordination. The enemy fleet, massive and powerful, begins to fragment as individual ships flee rather than face annihilation. The battle reaches its climax when the U.S. Hammer, heavily damaged, rams the Devourer flagship. Captain Cross, knowing his ship is doomed, orders the evacuation of his crew while he pilots the ship into the enemy vessel's core. The resulting explosion destroys both ships, but breaks the Devourer fleet's will to fight. The surviving Devourer ships retreat into deep space, their invasion broken. The Vellani homeworld is saved, but at great cost. The human fleet has lost 15 ships and thousands of personnel. The victory is decisive, but bittered out the new Guardian setting. Vellani homeworld, then expanding across the galaxy. The aftermath of the war brings unexpected consequences. News of humanity's victory spreads across the galaxy through networks of communication the Vellani had never mentioned. Dozens of species, previously hidden or scattered, begin reaching out to the human Vellani alliance. Commander Wells, now promoted to captain after Captain Cross's sacrifice, leads the reformed fleet. The ships are hybrid designs, combining human weaponry with Vellani technology. The alliance has become something new, a military force dedicated to protecting peaceful species from predators. The Vellani homeworld becomes a hub of activity. Species from across the galaxy arrive to join the alliance or seek protection. The humans discover they're not unique. Many species have the capacity for warfare, but few have the combination of tactical skill and moral purpose that defines humanity. Elder Kess, now serving as the Alliance's diplomatic leader, works with Admiral Hart to establish the Galactic Protection Accord. The agreement is simple. Any species that threatens peaceful civilizations will face the combined might of the Alliance. The Devourers were just the first test. The humans discover their reputation has preceded them. The galaxy is full of predator, species that have ruled through fear and force. But now there's a new force in the galaxy, one that fights not for conquest, but for protection. The balance of power has shifted. Dr. Clark, analyzing communications from across the galaxy, makes a startling discovery. The Devourers were not unique. There are dozens of species like them, civilizations that survive by consuming others. The galaxy is a far more dangerous place than anyone realized. The Alliance faces its first major test when a species called the Reapers begin systematically destroying colonies in the Andromeda Contact Zone. The enemy is different from the Devourers. More advanced, more organized, and more ruthless. They don't consume civilizations. They simply erase them. Captain Wells leads a strike force to investigate the Reaper threat. What they find is terrifying. A species that views all organic life as a contamination to be cleansed. The Reapers are not driven by hunger or conquest, but by a twisted philosophy that sees extinction as purification. The story reaches its climax when the Alliance receives dozens of distress calls simultaneously. The Reapers have begun a coordinated assault on multiple systems, threatening to destroy millions of lives. The human Vellani fleet, now grown to over 300 ships, prepares for its greatest challenge. Admiral Hart addresses the combined fleet before they depart. "We didn't ask to be the galaxy's guardians," she says, "but that's what we've become. Every species that calls for help, every civilization that faces extinction, looks to us for protection. We will not let them down." The final scene shows the Alliance fleet jumping to hyperspace, racing to answer dozens of distress calls across the galaxy. The humans have found their place in the cosmos. not as conquerors or explorers, but as protectors. When the call for aid is heard, humanity answers with firepower. The story ends with a message being broadcast across the galaxy on all frequencies. This is the Terran-Villani Alliance. If you are peaceful, you are under our protection. If you prey on the innocent, we are coming for you. The galaxy has new guardians now.